What is going on, Replo fam? I am back. More stuff, more conversations, more jams. And I got my boy Aarav with me today. And before Aarav, he runs a company called Recapture Cart in the P2P like abandoned cart recovery space, which some of you may be aware of, some of you maybe not. I know we've talked about that recently on this particular channel. Aarav, first of all, thank you so much for joining me. How are you, brother?
Doing good, man. Happy to be here.
Good. I'm glad. I'm very glad. Aarav and I, we've been talking on Twitter quite a bit, and we met for the first time at John Hickey's conference that he had in New York City mid-July. And I had no idea what Aarav looked like because he, on the Recapture Cart Twitter, it's just their logo. And so I just saw the logo, and I had no idea who this person was. So I'm glad we were able to meet in person and finally actually know what you look like. I don't think I actually knew your name fully until we met.
I might have mentioned it once over Twitter, but it might have been like very much in passing.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I saw you at the event. I'm like, hey, that's Sanjay. Let me just go up to him and say hi. Like, hi, this is Recapture Cart. This is me. I am him.
I'm like, oh, wait, you're the R on Twitter,
Yeah,
which is how I was like kind of I don't know, holding space in my brain on who you are. Okay, so obviously we've talked a little bit about like P2P abandoned cart recovery. In your words, tell the people if they're not familiar, because they're not watching my content enough. That's okay. But if they're not familiar, what do you do exactly?
sure. So top line, my favorite tagline here is P2P SMS, and specifically with us, is the closest thing to free money in ecom that you can possibly get to. So of the people that visit your website and make a purchase from you, only about 10 to 15% you can even legally message because they've opted in for marketing. Everyone else, whether they've made a purchase, abandoned a cart, they are gone. They will never hear from you via text, and they will never get to experience that interaction. We do P2P, which stands for peer-to-peer messaging, which means manual. In manual messaging, you can message someone without having an opt-in so long as you have their phone number. So we have our agents who are trained on your business, customer service, sales agents, who text your customer and say, hey, we noticed you left something in your cart. How can I help you? Hey, we noticed you purchased this just now. Is there anything else you're looking at? Or we saw you bought this a few weeks ago. How'd you like it? And in doing this, what we find is customers have a better experience. They love the brand. They suggest it to their customers. And most importantly, the business gets more orders. That's P2P SMS.
Well, there you go. And we and again, it's something that I'm really interested in because I personally have a lot of experience with one of your competitors in the P2P messaging space right when that kind of like first happened in ecom, like 2018,
Yeah.
2019. I was actually an early user. So I think this is like really bullish. What I think is very fascinating is 2018, 2019, that's over 5 years ago. It's like 6 years ago now, 6, 7 years ago, as of taping. And I am amazed that more people haven't heard about it or don't really understand how the P2P, the peer-to-peer stuff is different. The peer-to-peer with real people stuff is different than like what you would use out of Attentive or a Klaviyo or a Postscript. I'm kind of curious to know why you think that is, why it hasn't become ubiquitous in the same way that like pop-up apps might have been.
Yeah, so I think there's a few reasons. The first is P2P inherently, because it's person to person, is service. It's not software. So today, all the the SaaS VC-backed companies like Klaviyo or the Boost Public, SMS, Attentive,
Hmm.
once one pops up, then the second comes and the third comes because these VC companies just want to back them. Uh, with service, it's very different, right? VCs, there's no money flowing into service businesses, or very little rather, and it never got that attention. So never, competitors never really popped up.
Hmm.
And then second is it's it's difficult to explain a little bit. Everyone's so used to sending automated messages, campaigns, and the whole marketing approach is very much data centric, especially in DTC. Um, and between the legal compliance, the differentiation between how P2P is different from automated A to P, um, I don't think it's gotten the attention it deserves. I think there's so much revenue to be unlocked there, and there's so much growth available, and people are just missing out.
It's just so funny. I just like it's incremental revenue, and you do not have to inherit, or you don't have to like incur the cost of hiring all of the people yourself
Yeah.
from the brand perspective. Like you have real people like hitting send, and part of that is like a compliance. I mean, it's entirely based on a compliance thing. Like
Yeah.
the reason why you couldn't send these text messages to your existing systems is if you send it, if a human pushes the send button, it is a completely different type of texting. You're
Yeah.
under a completely different set of laws.
Yeah.
Um, do you? I'm actually kind of curious to know. And this is maybe a little bit of a tangent, but do you do work with people outside of ecom at all, or is it just are you just focused on the ecom stuff?
We work outside of ecom too, particularly with like sort of lead gen businesses. So ones that
Hmm.
have a higher, AOV. So I'll give you a couple examples of people we've worked with in the past or working with, people we're talking with. One example is a golf cart business, and they are technically still DTC, but they're selling multiple $1,000 value products.
Yeah,
And just sending the text at that point sort of isn't enough because you really want a high
yeah.
touch experience. There's a lot of sales training involved. So golf carts, they've got a few dozen SKUs, as I said, a few $1,000s each. And the moment someone abandons a cart, they get a call from us. Or the moment they submit
You call them.
we call them. Or they put their phone number into a pop-up or something, they immediately get a call. And our agents know the SKUs, they know the differences. They could show up to a golf course and tell someone what model something is and what it should be and they should get instead. And they walk them through the whole 9 yards and then help them convert into a purchase.
Oh wow! And so I'm kind of curious to know how you like structure your team here because I would imagine that a subset of your agents actually know this, or is it like every single person on the team you can just kind of hot swap an agent in and they would be able to go through and answer these questions?
So first, we all our agents are based in the U.S. So in terms of conversation ability and the ability to just connect with the person you're talking to really well on a cultural basis, simply on language, it's great.
Yeah.
Support, it's great. In terms of training, we have basically each of our agents has a client portfolio, and they're experts with those clients, and then they know that A to Z, and that's the only thing they work on. So each brand that we work with gets a dedicated agent instead of like that client getting tossed around to multiple people depending on like who's working or whatever. So
Got
that
it. That's
way
pretty interesting.
there's concentration, and then each agent doesn't have to know like 50 different companies.
Mhm. So that's actually, I mean, that's really, and I guess, and then you just kind of like scale up. You know how many brands an
Yeah.
agent can work in. You kind of scale up from there. That's really cool, dude. The lead gen stuff is really fascinating. I love lead gen more than anything in the world, and just because it's just an easier, different game. It's
Such a great
trying to
business.
get people to buy mushroom coffee is a pretty hard task. When there's especially when there's so much mushroom coffee. And, I don't know. Have you ever had mushroom coffee? Some of it's not great. Most of it's not great.
I don't, funny story, I don't have it. There's someone else in my house who has bought it and has tried it and swears by it. I can't
Yeah.
get myself to eat, drink it.
Dude, I've had the mud water before, and there's a couple of different preparations of mud water that it's pretty good, but they don't consider themselves mushroom coffee. I know we've had Rise superfood in our house, and that was okay as well. I think those are probably like the only two that are actually really good. The rest of them just taste like dirt, man. They are just not good at all, and I don't feel like any benefits from them either. But anyway, I digress. That's neither here nor there. It is hard to do, hard to sell mushroom coffee. Sometimes lead gen, and lead gen has its own sort of challenges and difficulties and etc. But the the smallest hack, the simplest hack that I've seen, and this works in ecom and in lead gen, but especially in lead gen, to your point, it's the sooner you can reach out to the customer as soon as they've like filled out that form. So whether you're doing like home services or selling $2,000 golf carts or whatever it is, like you selling roofs, the faster you can go from like here is the customer does an interaction to like actually reaching out to them, and like sending them a text message. I think that like that's where the actual value is, and that's like the
Yeah.
businesses that are actually able to scale faster. And
Hmm.
I guess this is true for anything. The faster you can react, better it is. But like those are the ones that actually win. Do you have like how do you set SLAs when you do work with brands, whether it's brands or leads and stuff? It's like, hey, they're gonna get a text message within this much time. Like, how do you plan that out?
Um, I'm going to do a little bit of bragging here. We are in terms of our. It's not just people sending texts, right? Because there's the compliance side. There's also the custom software side. So we have internal tools we've built that make it so easy for our time to first contact to be literally seconds. That setting standards for how quickly we communicate has never been an issue.
Hmm.
We've never had a lead that has gone over like a minute or two to
Oh
reaction
wow.
time. So, setting a scope of or contract requirements that it's in this X time or this way has been a non sequitur. I'll give you an example. There's a company who we worked with a little bit before, and we're still talking with. You mentioned home services. They're a basement remodeling company,
Hmm.
and they did this direct mail campaign, and they wanted to work with us exclusively on that. And basically, anytime someone called the number on the direct mail campaign or filled out a lead form, they got a call from us. And we get like appointment booking rates this is for like $75,000, $100,000 AOVs of like 20-30%.
Wow.
Um, so it works great. Our focus is definitely DTC, but we work with whoever it fits.
Nice, dude. And that's pretty wild, and that's really wild, actually. It makes me want to go spin up some lead gen campaigns. I saw this video this morning on TikTok of this guy who's like this white dude on TikTok who was like, "Hey, if you're an Indian person in the DFW area, I'll pay you a referral fee if anyone wants like LED lights set up in their house or something. So I'll give you like X percent commission. So if you're a brown person, your temples,
I wonder,
your cricket.
I wonder what his data is on Indian people being particularly good to target for LED lights.
Apparently, in the video, he was like, um, I basically I was able to pay out a couple grand in December alone last year to one Indian person, and so I think that he was like, oh man, maybe there's something here, and he wanted to double that down. But I watched that TikTok, then I'm in the shower, and I'm like, man, should I just go spin that up and like just go do that because that'd be hilarious. Like I'm an Indian person, I can be in the community a lot faster than that guy. And but like the core playbook is like gotta be able to like whether you run Facebook ads, whether you do referrals, QR code, direct mail, etc. And this is true for e-com as well. The faster you can get to that contact, the better. Um, let me ask you this: like, what's some of the cooler stuff? Like, I mean, you've talked about a couple of examples here. You've got the bathroom modeling. You've got um, the golf carts. Like, what are other really interesting stories that you have just doing this? You got to have like some crazy stuff.
Sure, yeah. So there's a company we worked with, BTC company that sells frozen fish online.
Nice.
Um, it is not David, uh, although I suppose now technically they're a competitor.
Yeah.
Um, and they've got, gosh, a couple hundred SKUs, maybe more. Um, our agents have a 150-page sales manual that they're trained on. Um, and our agents, because they're US based, it enables us to offer phone call support too. So,
Hmm.
for example, every one of the texts we send says, "P.S. If you'd like me to give you a call, just let me know." So we run three flows: abandoned cart, post purchase upsell, and inactive customer re-engagement. So basically, abandoned cart, the moment after they make a purchase, 2 weeks after the purchase, and then like 60 days if they've not made an order since.
Hmm.
And some of those conversations, when we're selling frozen fish, our target demographic ends up being a little bit older.
Sure.
Um, and we record all of our phone calls for QA and just observation purposes. And like 75% of the people who pick up the phone when we call are like, "I'm shocked this is a real person. I sent that text just to test the AI you guys were using to see how good it would be. And
Yeah.
I had no idea I'm actually going to get on the phone with a real human being." Um, and we've had people say that they came back to place orders with us because of that experience.
Wow.
We've seen people say I shared this conversation with a friend because I was shocked at how incredible this was. Um, we had an agent that had a 35-minute conversation with one of their customers about the best recipes and preparations to use for a certain fish.
Oh wow.
Um, so, like there's these jokes that, we'll place a pizza order for you if you need it. And it's true. Our agents, they're great people. They know how to speak with customers. And they love helping people. And it's a great business because it works for us, it works for the client, and customers are always happy.
I would I've done that line of questioning, like, yo, what AI system is this? And it's like, no, it's a real person.
Yeah.
The calls are crazy. I don't know how many calls you get, but I get a lot of like, automated calls, and it is actually I will hear out a human being if a human being calls.
Yeah.
But you know, not all the time. But that is actually pretty fascinating. Uh, Dude, you're seeing all this stuff. You're seeing all this data. Your agents are out here slinging. Um, Really quickly, are you using like a tool like Ringbud to like collect all this like call data? Like where does that go? Like, what kind of call system infrastructure do you have?
We have a half custom CRM that we have that records
Oh,
call analytics. Actually, it's almost entirely custom. Um, that basically records everything we need. And then from that, we actually take those calls, transcribe them, take those transcriptions through an AI, and do some manual analysis. And like every week, we give basically a sentiment report to clients that has here are all the text conversations we had, here's all the phone conversations, and here's some insights you can take back for your product team, for your CRO team, to basically optimize conversion rates. And this
wow.
this I guess did really well with Replo in a sense that we've had um, let's take the fish example again. We've had FAQs that are like, um, what's the time to delivery? There were some huge delivery questions that we just kept on getting. So we took this back to them, said, hey, like your product pages and your checkout page are really unclear on what delivery times are because it's a frozen product. So they need to be home when it's there. Like there's
Yep.
logistics involved.
Yep.
It's not just when to show up on my doorstep. So they took that, they put that back into their system, made some changes on copy and all. And I think they saw like a zero point 0.3 or 0.5% improvement on conversion rate, which sounds small, but in raw numbers, it's huge. If you go from 2 to 2.5, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. And that's the kind of firewall that I think more people need to be thinking about. It's like we do collect a lot of these. I mean, just reviews alone, but I mean, you have like one layer up the funnel from a review, which is like a real time conversation. I don't think that brands, and it's probably a bandwidth thing. People are just probably just busy, but maybe they're not thinking about it. Taking that feedback and like actually doing something with it on a regular basis. That's really cool that you captured like you're like rounding that up. It's even cooler that they actually did something about it. That's the
Yeah,
part I think doesn't happen that
yeah.
often.
And I'm so glad you just mentioned reviews. Reviews and both post-purchase upsells, or sorry, post-purchase surveys have become
Hmm.
like a really big thing in e-com in the last 2 years, and rightfully
Yep.
so, because hearing from your customers and getting data on that is a big deal.
Yep.
But one of the things that is not possible that I think is new with us now is pre-purchase surveys. So when you do post-purchase surveys, you're inherently only hearing from the people who have bought from you.
Yep.
But when you're doing in cart and we are messaging those people, we get to find out why people didn't buy.
Yep.
And we find that to be equally or even more valuable because that fixes the leaks versus just finding out what worked.
Yep. Dude, yeah. And then you can accelerate your sales, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
what what pushback do people do you? I mean, when you get on sales call, and this is something that I've asked this question before to some of your competitors, but I'm curious to hear from you. Like, why do people say no to this? Like, this seems like such a no-brainer. Obviously, I'm a believer because I've been a customer of this type of service before. Why why not do this? Like, why are people like hung up, or what's the best way to say it? What objections do you typically like have to overcome to get people like to do this?
Sure. So there's a couple things. We found our conversion rates on lead to client to be quite high. So we usually are pretty good at getting over these objections.
Hmm.
The biggest one is reputation. I don't want my customers to think less of me because I'm messaging them I don't want them to feel it's a spammy or I'm doing a sleazy tactic. They didn't opt. In reality, first, people really don't remember where they opt in and don't, and it's legal anyways. And the second is, we're not hurting your reputation. We're improving it. Because if you just read the texts and the replies we get to our messages, you would not believe how satisfied customers are, and they are in awe of like, how is there a real human I'm talking to right now? Because we all get marketing messages. Sometimes we remember opting in, sometimes we don't. But they come in, they sit there for a while. We don't look at them. Maybe we'll go back if we want to make a purchase. But we never have conversations because you can't. And there's a humanization here that has gotten lost over the last 30, 40 years that just brings it back, and it's wonderful.
Dude, I
So
love it.
that's probably the first objection. The second one is I don't want to burn through my list, which then we come back to the subject that this isn't your list because you're not messaging these people at all. You're not burning through. This is the first time you're ever getting to them. Um, and then the third one sometimes would be, if their gross margins are extremely low and that poses problems for them operationally. But we find that to be a very rare circumstance.
Interesting. Okay, well there you go. Dude, okay, so let's cook up some stuff, some scenarios. I wanna
Yeah.
figure out like what is what's I wanna put people on some game, like give people some like material alpha that they can walk away from and test. So let me know. Do you have any experiments you've been wanting one of your customers to run that they haven't been able to for whatever reason? Is there any sort of like hack or trick or like 1-2 punch that you've been kind of brewing that you want to bring to the people?
I like this question. So I'll tell you what we run normally for clients, like our setup playbook that almost everyone agrees with. And then I'll get into like stuff that we want to try that we've not really taken out of the wheelhouse yet. What we run is mainly three things: is the abandoned cart, the post, or four things rather: abandoned cart, the immediate post purchase, 2 week post purchase, like after they've gotten a chance to receive the product and try it, and then inactive customer re-engagement. So like, for example, if a brand's repurchase rate, let's say if a customer doesn't buy again within 45 days, the chance of them ever buying again is very low. We'll message on
Yeah.
the 46th to win them back. Something we want to run is messaging people who have recently visited the site whose phone number we have.
Hmm.
So let's say we have their phone number already because they made a purchase and they just came to the site recently. They didn't put something in their cart or like click on anything, but they've just been to the site. And then we message them saying, "Hey, we saw you were checking out the site again. How can I help you? What were you looking at? Let's make something happen." And we want to do that because it would help facilitate so many more conversations and not only help them convert more orders, but if
Yeah.
you find out from all your website visitors why they came to the site, why they left the site,
Hmm.
there's so many CRO opportunities there. It makes my brain hurt from how much opportunity there is. And we've brought this to a couple of clients before, a couple of brands, but they're just concerned about the volume that we're sending there. Like they don't want to message so many times. So we're
Does
still
it?
working on
It
people for that.
doesn't affect them cost wise though, right? Like it's just
Yeah. So
pay when
we
you.
we have no SMS, we have no upfront SMS costs. We're so confident in our ability to help their customers that we're like, we'll just take the commission.
And they're
We don't need
still
to do
they're still like
it.
hesitant to send the volume. That's so funny.
So they're hesitant, not mainly because of the cost itself, but because of uh, they're just perpetually afraid of messaging their customers,
Sure.
um, because of like the whole
Which I think is
reputation. Like,
wrong. I do really like. I think that
yeah,
you should send more. Like
yeah,
there are guys like Jeremy Haynes. I've been consuming a lot of his content recently, and his whole thing is like you need to be sending more volume. And after someone like books a demo on a website, for example, in his particular set of verticals, he's like, okay, the next 72 hours, you need to email them 6 times a day. So it's like so 18 emails in 72 hours, a crazy volume just in emails
yeah,
alone, right? Follow-up emails alone. You could probably duplicate that with text. Maybe probably can't do that with text, but like emails, dude, that's the first thing. Then he's like, same time period, 30 to 50 retargeting videos that are all very specific. Like that is a level of intensity that no one's doing. Um, And the ones that are making tens of millions of dollars already, or hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So like, I hope people like get over this fear of like sending that, like obviously text message has a balance to it. You can't just like spam someone's phone,
Yeah.
because it's a much more visible experience. But like the emails, the ads, but then you start layering more text messages in general, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. As you said earlier, like lead gen, like I'm a sucker for lead gen. It is my long lost lover. I'm not in that business now, but I'm subscribed to a lot of the email and some text campaigns from like the lead gen people who talk. Jeremy
Yeah,
Haynes is one of them.
yeah,
And the people who I view most favorably and credibly and who would help me make the most money by consuming their content are the people who contact me most often via email and message.
yeah.
And that is not a coincidence.
No, well, I will say that there's something to be said about them practicing what they preach, right? Daniel
Yeah.
Fazio, the client ascension guys, like I get hit up with like their SDRs all the
He's one of
time,
them.
and I've gone through client ascension. I've already paid for it, and I've done the program, and I see the value out of it. And they want me to come back and buy more stuff from them, take more courses, to send to Olympia, all these other things. And he sends me like 3 emails a day, probably. If I really went and look back
Yeah.
at it, Jeremy Haynes sending a ton of volume. Like, I don't know if you've ever subscribed to like the ClickFunnels. Actually, this is foreshadowing for my own life. But like, I'm a huge ClickFunnels guy. Their welcome flows, or their email flows, they're sending like 3-4 emails a day. And I've been on their list for years, and they're still sending that level of volume. I think people should. That's so funny. So that people that send the most, yeah, are the ones that could help the most. Um, okay, so you want to like target people who view the site. That is a pretty interesting idea. Something that I've thought about, like the identity resolution people, right? So your OpenSend
Yeah.
customers, Instant, RB2B, et cetera, like, or retention.com for the consumer side. Like, I think it'd be really
Yeah.
cool if you could take that data. Okay, so let me ask you a compliance question, actually. Could you take that data, the identity resolution data, and if it comes with a phone number, would you be able to text that number? So that's like the
I mean,
1-2 punch, right? So that actually supercharges
yeah.
the view thing.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And it depends on which identity resolution platform you use. But if you have one that basically connects to Shopify and
Yep.
will populate back into your system,
Yep.
then that makes it super easy to just pull that and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And just message that person.
And then you're able to rep. That's awesome, dude. What?
And another version of that to sort of add to that is that's identity resolution on a third party basis.
Right.
There's companies like Upstack, Michael, who I'm sure
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and they do first party resolution. So basically, if someone's visiting my site again, and
Mm,
Facebook or Shopify basically couldn't pick up that this is the same person,
right.
Upstack will know at a higher rate. Um, and basically taking the data from them and messaging that person again. So there's
Nice.
multiple ways that collecting phone numbers from these various ID resolution sites and services funnel getting phone numbers, which would normally be useless because
Yeah.
A2P can't reach them. But suddenly it supercharges this engine, the sales channel that is totally new.
Do you dude, that's sick. There's so many ideas that I have. What so do you know Maxwell Finn? Do you know who that is? Unicorn.
Yes.
Yes. So in 2016, one of my favorite Maxwell Finn stories, he did the Trump coin. Are you familiar with this?
Mm, I don't think so.
All right, so I'll tell you, it's actually really genius. So leading up to the actual election night, they had this idea to do this kind of giveaway, or not sort of giveaway. It's a free plus shipping offer essentially, and it's going to be $1 coin commemorating the winner of the election. And they thought that Hillary Clinton was gonna win, and then when Donald Trump won, they had to redo all of their funnels to match Trump coin. But actually, like I think probably did better in that regard. And the entire funnel was Facebook ad that was an engagement objective to get like comments, and it's like congratulate the president on the victory, and it's like the keyword is like congratulations, or Trump or something, and that would trigger a mini chat, like a mini chat bot, because the comment to subscribe mini chat
Oh,
flow, and then be like, hey, get a free plus shipping offer, like get this commemorative coin for free, just cover shipping, and it was like $5 there, it costs $1 to get the coin, obviously, plus another sticker they had someone do. So they're a little profitable on the front end of that. Then there's like all these like, hey, buy this commemorative T-shirt or this gift set or get like 20 of these. And so they were making like $20 per person, and it cost them like 50 cents to get a lead on ManyChat. Now ManyChat isn't as effective as it used to be because Facebook chat like patched a lot of the stuff. But it would be interesting if you could do that initial comment to subscribe, and instead of going through a ManyChat flow, you could essentially just like flood. And I don't know if you can do this, but I would imagine you would be able to build some sort of like real-time order getting if needed, but like go ManyChat to like our P2P flow, or like you're able to collect all this data. Maybe it runs through ManyChat, all the people that didn't buy right then and there. Then you're able to like kind of identify and then go run this. Probably just another volume play, but I think people should do stuff like that.
We can message through IG, Facebook, WhatsApp.
Oh, so you're able to like.
We're multi-channel. Anywhere where we're messaging someone who is receiving a message on the other end, we can do it.
I did not know that.
Excluding Messenger Pigeon, I think we have it covered.
Messenger Pigeon? What is that? A specific app?
No, I'm thinking excluding sending a pigeon to go send a message.
Oh, like a carrier pigeon. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Carrier, that's what I was looking for. Apart from carrier pigeon, I think we're covered.
Carrier pigeons and like the Pony Express, and then that's really funny. So when you send a text message, is it like
try carrier pigeon? Give it a shot.
Hey man, let me know. So if I get a pigeon at my apartment window, I'll know who to call. So do you do blue text? Like, do you do like the iMessage versus the Android? Like, how does that work?
We can do that. That is, then we do charge for cost there, because that requires basically actual infrastructure. You need to have an actual iPhone to send a blue text, and obviously we don't work directly from our agents don't work directly from iPhones and stuff. So that is an additional cost, but yeah, we do that.
Got it. Okay, interesting. I do think that there's probably some degree of more value, but it's also
most clients clients have not taken us up on that yet. But from our own experience, doing that will get you like a 70% increase in reply rate. So if we're at like a 25% reply rate, we'll get that up to like 45, 50.
Oh wow, okay. It's pretty material.
It's material,
like a coin flip on whether or not you're going to get a reply or not. That's actually a pretty good deal. Okay, so what other ideas do you have? What other tests do you think would be interesting to run?
The blue text one was one. It's funny you mentioned that.
There you go. Okay, so blue text.
Let me jam here. Hold on. Another one I've really been wanting to run. I want to run an email. I want our clients to run email campaigns to the people whose phone numbers we do not have, and say, "What's your phone number? Let me text you." Like, I just want to get as many ways as possible to get phone numbers and just message these people.
Yeah.
I feel especially so over the last maybe 5 years, post-COVID mostly. E-com brands, because of a cataclysmic event every single year, have had to get smarter about marketing, one of them being email. And because email has gotten so much more prevalent, it's also getting a lot more crowded. And email still works. It's proven. It just does. But inboxes get more crowded. Recognition of your brand will be lower. Text is just unforgettable. No one forgets when they get a text.
Yeah.
Or I should say, very few people do. So I just trying to supercharge this engine for the client and just get me phone numbers.
Dude, yeah. And that has the additional benefit of all of their one-to-many, like their attentive Klaviyo PostScript stuff, that also improves. The stuff that you would do for them improves. It's like a real, you're rising the tide. The water level rises, the boats all get up. Like, that's really, really something special.
Yep.
I think more companies should do that. Like, have a good offer, having something compelling. It could be like a lead gen thing too. Like, it doesn't always have to be a physical product. It's like, hey, like, you sell shoes. Here's a really fun, like, running guide. Or like, oh, you want to like break a 8-minute mile or whatever for the first time in your life, or a 6-minute mile or whatever. Like, here's how to get faster. This shoe specific example, but like, is a PDF that you can do. Just get your phone number. Like, brands start to need to be they need to start becoming more creative. How about the lead magnets? I actually made this whole lead magnet guide that I will attach to the show description here. Um, that's cool. Okay, what else? What are the ideas? Or give me some prompts on something that would be interesting to cook up with P2P.
Okay, let's do this here. Um, I've I've really wanted to get creative with the copy we send.
Yeah,
So, for example, our standard text is, "Hey Sanjay, this is Aarav from XYZ brand from Replo HQ. We saw that you were checking out. I'm just gonna. This is not for a DTC brand, but I'm just gonna put in a format
sure.
here. We saw you were checking out our new AI landing page builder. Quick
Yeah,
insert there. Um,
thank you for the shout
um,
out.
Absolutely. Great choice. Did you have any questions, or are you interested in a discount code? P.S. I'm a real human. If you'd like me to give you a call, let me know. So what I've really wanted to try is like changing the copy based off of the target demo of our customer. So
Yeah,
like in case that things skew older, I'd want to be like, howdy or hello there, something a little bit more charming and old world. Something that resonates with them more. Or for like, we have a client who sells comic books. I want to be like, yo, how's it going? And just,
yeah.
change things up, switch it up, see what we can
Maybe,
do to get more replies, get them to
yeah.
recognize that there's really a real human on the other end. Um, and just get like 70% reply rates because we changed 5 words in our text.
That's awesome, dude. That's actually a really good. That's a really good call out. I think more brands should be willing to kind of test some of these things. There's this reliance on like gotta stay on brand, these
Yeah.
guidelines, and maybe they're a little bit restrictive. But that is a surface area. That text message, that experience, that's so personalized that if you do that extra, you know, 12% of work or 5% of work to get that personalization actually goes a long way. I
Yeah.
personally, being I don't remember the exact word you used, but I would resonate to the howdy by nature of being a Texan. Um, and no, I think but like if I was going
Well,
at a cowboy boot store, I want to hear
yeah.
howdy. Like I better hear howdy.
Yeah.
If I'm going
Yeah.
to streetwear stuff, a yo or a hey, like all lowercase, like
Yeah.
that would actually like it's small psychological, but like actually makes a material difference.
Yeah. And speaking of cowboy Tacovas, we've spoken before. If you're listening, this is a great idea. Please.
Yeah, dude, I've got a pair. I've got a pair of Tacovas. If you're listening, I still have my first pair of ostrich boots. I never wear.
the the CMO of Tacovas is newly on Twitter for the last few
Yeah, she's
months.
great. She's
She's
really
great.
lovely.
She's great.
I do love my Tacovas. I'm not a cowboy person inherently, so it's a special occasion and it's the centerpiece of the outfit. But I actually one of my buddies, his name's Blake Umloff. Shout out Blake. He and I we walked into the Dallas Tacovas store together, and we both got matching black ostrich boots, and he's had his resold at least twice now because he wears them like all day, every day. And it's really funny to see like the wear patterns on someone who uses them as like regular daily shoes versus someone who's like me, who's like special occasions only kind of thing. Um, but yeah, great product, P2P messaging. I mean, that'd be cool too. Like, and okay, so here's an interesting idea. If you do have physical retail distribution in some way, whether it's owned stores or not, maybe like having adding a P2P element of like, yo, like you can actually find my product or this product at your the Target that's close to you.
Yeah.
If you're able to like kind of put that data together, that's actually a pretty interesting thing too, because like not every sale necessarily has to happen online. Do you
Yeah.
actually in that environment? Because I know there's like a whole thing about attribution. Would you actually lose the ability to track that sale?
That's a good question. We, in that case, would, unless I can on the spot come up with a really creative way to take credit for that. Um, Most likely we would lose that. We've not had a situation of a client having own retail,
Yeah,
that they would then want that to happen or need to arrange for that. The only way I can think about it is if we said, "Hey, mention this text here to your uh,
sure.
to the salesperson on the floor there." So I don't know. I think we would probably lose that, but to be frank, I would be totally fine with losing it because our agents kill for our clients. They do so well, and whatever we miss
Sure.
out, we get it back elsewhere. And our
Yeah.
attribution
Yeah.
is tight. Our attribution is tight enough we where there are customers that convert outside of our window, and we lose credit for it, and that's no problem. It works out just fine.
Got it, dude.
Like we actually,
Uh,
to piggyback on that, we have some tests that we run, and customers who convert through us show to have a double LTV and like a 70% higher repurchase rate than customers who don't convert through us. So it
wow,
goes to show that just having that interaction is like huge.
dude. Hell yeah. It's these little things. I think we're entering the stage now where if you've been selling on the e-com side at least, if you've been selling for a couple of years, like this is going to be a like having P2P is a cost of doing business. And an incremental cost, like obviously it's just like whenever you complete a sale, which is some of the best
Yeah.
types of costs I would say.
Yeah.
But um,
Not even a cost at all.
yeah, probably I mean it's yeah, it's a margin issue more than anything else. But the yeah, if you don't do this level of sophistication like your competitors are, and I think that's something to be really mindful of. Like the more this gets used, the effectiveness obviously there are diminishing returns. I'm sure like there's an asymptote that it hits at some point, but if you do it now, you actually do get to capture that value. It becomes a part of the core brand experience, and this will be in 5 years' time. Like if you don't do this, like what are you doing, kind of thing. So if you're able to get in on it early, you absolutely should. And it's really fascinating for me that there isn't more awareness. But I know I see you trying to bring awareness to this, like trying to like raise the tide.
Yeah.
As I like to say, like I think it's so important to do that. Uh, Before we wrap, dude, I wanna ask why did you get into this business? Why was this what you wanted to do?
Sure. So I have like before this a marketing background in general, in local, in online, a few different areas. And I was talking with a few people who run retention agencies in ecom, and they were like, we do our best to get results for our clients, and things usually go well, but sometimes we have difficulty because we have no one to message,
Hmm.
and like I can't make SMS work if my list is 500 people. Like there's not enough juice to squeeze out of that list.
Yeah,
Um, so the whole thing became about how do I get more phone numbers.
yeah,
Um, and then we're just funneling this through and trying to figure out how to get more opt-ins, and it's hard because no one wants to click the button to opt in. Everyone
sure,
sees that, and it's like I'm gonna get messages from this person for the rest of time, and it's not worth the hassle because it's automated. And then once I opened a client's Shopify dashboard, they want us to go through some things, and I'm just scrolling through their customers, and I see phone number after phone number after phone number. I'm like, we're not messaging these people? And they're like, no, we can't. They didn't opt in. And the light bulb went off. And this was after the advent of Chat GPT and all. So I put in like, why can't I message these people? How do I message these people?
yeah,
Give me a way to, and eventually like, if you stumble upon P2P, like this is the way you do it. Ran the numbers, figured out it's a no-brainer for us. It's a no-brainer for the client. And RecaptureCart was born.
there you go, dude. It's always like that. Like you just there's like this like holy cow, like why isn't this a thing? And then
Why is
you
this
get
a
it,
thing right now?
yeah, and then you made it happen. I love it, bro. Um, Last thing, if you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice, what would you say to yourself?
Um, it's a really good one. Um, yeah,
Let's say we go back to 18, age 18.
sure. I'd say that I tried to do a lot of stuff solo, and it worked to a good degree. Um, and I don't mean that like if I'm going out solo and working on your own is fine, but I think if you start out working for someone or working with someone who is extremely adept at what they do,
Yeah,
simply off the knowledge and the connections and the network alone, I think would accelerate things a lot faster than
yeah,
otherwise. And finding someone who realizes that you're a smart, hungry guy and wants to just work and make things happen.
Yep.
If you can find someone who recognizes that and values that and who's knowledgeable and help you take the step to that next level, going and finding that I think is a huge accelerator.
Well, there you go. Good stuff, man. Arv, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for jamming about P2P. I hope we raise the tides about the industry and the awareness today. And dude, yeah, we'll do this again soon. Hopefully next time we'll do it in person. Next time I'm up north, or if you're ever down in Texas, we'll do it IRL. But I appreciate you coming on.
You gotta come to the city again. Now Replo has to throw over 9 here. Oh, paintball. Hold on.
Yeah, we're doing paintball in
2 weeks.
1 month. It's mid-September.
August?
It's in September.
It's in September. All right. I'll see you in a month, man.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So it'll be great, dude.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for joining.